And so this one I shot with my DSLR, and I got the f-stop backwards. I needed a um, a large f-stop number, and instead turned it to the other end of the dial. But still, I kind of like the result because it gives you that natural tilt shift kind of out of focus foreground and background. And so there's kind of a strip in the middle where everything is in focus, and it very naturally makes everything look like it's tiny, which in this case it is. Um, yeah, I don't know much else what to say about it. It was in bright sunlight, hoping to get extra depth of field, but obviously I screwed that up.
How many years are there?
I think it's about 15 or something like that. And
Wow.
interestingly, I know when I when I went to go and sort of count them, I realized that there's only like five different colors. It goes through the same sequence, you know, yellow, red, teal, orange, blue, and then repeats, which I never would have noticed otherwise.
Yeah, it's a great subject. I presume you used your DSLR to capture this shot
Yes.
at a cha-cha, couple
Yep.
millimeters, something like that.
Yep. Uh, that's how I did. I guess three out of the four of mine this time, and I was a little bit surprised um, how much um, how much motion I needed between the images. Um, so so yeah, it might only this might have been probably is at least 5 millimeters, maybe closer to a centimeter, which is a lot when you're just two inches away from something. But but it they ended up sort of wanting more separation than I would have guessed would be even tolerable. So that was kind of interesting. It's kind of new for me to try such a narrow stereo base. So it's kind of fun to see what Barry Bieber and Jack have been dealing with for so long. I just never really tried my hand at it, so it's a lot to learn.
Well, I'm so glad to hear that because that is the purpose of this special competition, special subject, to try something new. Melinda, do you have a slide bar for your DSLR, or did you do this? Is this a handheld shot?
Yeah, it's handheld. I just held held the lens in my left hand, braced my fingers against the the license plate, and just slid it over a couple millimeters at a time.
Yeah, very effective. Thank you, Melinda.
Mm.
Oleg, you're up next. The title is Excellent Choice.
Yes, this is my brother and my uh, cousin, niece, actually. We were in a toy store and she's selecting things to take home to Chile.
Now, you usually shoot a wider base with wide lenses. How did you capture this one?
With the Panasonic 3D one, I think it's got about a 1 inch base.
Right. How long has it been since you've shot with that camera, Oleg?
Uh, just for this special,
It's been,
it's been years, I think.
yeah, I think it's been a while.
And you also have a hydrogen one.
Yes,
Have
I
you
do.
have you been
Yep.
using that at all?
No. It was just because of the special that I dug out the 3D one.
We found a good subject for it.
Yeah, I think I'll keep using it. It's lightweight.
Yeah, it's the camera you can carry around with you. Keep in your pocket. Well, thank you, Oleg. All right, I would like to welcome Edward Austin. He's a first-time exhibitor tonight, and he has two stereo macros he's going to be sharing with us. Edward, you're under no obligation to describe the photo, but I'll pull it up right now, and the title is Lichen.
I I didn't start out to do this stereo photography. I have a hobby of using a microscope, and there is a type of microscope called a stereo microscope, which is used. People use it in industry for things like inspecting circuit boards and repairing, soldering, circuit boards. They use them for dissecting tissues. So you have a 3D. This actually, in effect, is two microscopes side by side. So you have the separate light path for each eye. And all I did was take a camera and an eyepiece adapter, take a picture from one eyepiece, take it out, put it in the other eyepiece, and take another picture. That was basically what it was. The limitation is it can't be anything alive because because you can't, if it's moving, I mean, when you're moving the camera from one eyepiece to, I suppose maybe you could use two cameras, but this was just my, just sort of an excursion into something that I thought would be interesting.
It definitely is, yeah. And it's amazing how much additional detail the 3D reveals in this photo compared to a 2D version.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite a different experience looking at it in 3D.
Now, Edward, I'm curious, how are you viewing this in 3D? Do you have a 3D screen or some sort of a viewer?
Yeah, this was just something I just did out of curiosity because the stereo microscope was, I mean, the thing that makes it really interesting and to use is the 3D effect. And so I bought on Amazon this little fold out viewer, and I print the cameras on I print the pictures side by side on a 4x6 print.
Mm-hmm.
Two of them on one card, and I just look at them through the viewer. That's all I've done.
Got it. Yeah, that definitely works.
The separation is really effective too. What can you tell us about the color? I'm really kind of curious. I mean, I've seen all kinds of different color lichen, but never like a blue green like this. Is it something special?
I don't know anything about lichen. I just scraped it off the fence in my backyard.
Oh, okay.
Put it under a microscope. I didn't do anything with it other than take the picture. The camera has the microscope mine has a separate illuminator, a light box with these fiber optic little spotlights, so you can adjust the distance and the shadow pattern and so forth. But other than correcting it for the halogen light, the red tone of the halogen light, I didn't do anything else with it.
Yeah, it's an interesting specimen. Now the light, is it coming from pretty much the same direction as the camera, or
Pardon
can
me?
you the light? Can you control the direction, like bring it in from 45
Yeah.
degrees or something like that?
There's two of them. You can move one close and one back, to create shadows, and you can actually, there's a mirror underneath the specimen, so you can have it lit from underneath if you want.
Yeah, this reveals a whole new world. Edward, just for your information, I did manipulate this photo a little bit. I aligned it. It was a bit vertically misaligned, and there was some rotation. That's something that's very easy to do in a program called Stereo Photo Maker. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. And that's why, I don't know if you noticed, your label in the upper right-hand corner on one of the views is a little tilted, and that's just a result of the alignment that I did, just to make it as comfortable to view as possible.
What was the name of that software again?
It's called Stereo Photo Maker, and let me put a link to it in the chat. It's a program that we all use. It's free. And it's a great program for editing stereo photos. Okay, I just put a link to that in the chat for you. And thank you, Edward. We have your second photo coming up 5 or 6 photos from now.
Is it too stupid to say that I subscribe to this image?
You subscribe to this image? I don't think that's stupid, but I don't know what it means.
Well, it's liking. I mean, you got to like and subscribe.
Oh.
Sorry.
Oh, Mike, you got me with that one. All right, that's a good one. Thank you. Like and subscribe. Okay. Bob, welcome. Our next photo is by you.
Thank you.
And the title is Clown Head.
Not much to say about this. This was taken with my iPhone 15 Pro Max at a friend's house just a little while ago. And she always has wonderful objects displayed. And this was one of the, I scored a whole box of these clown heads once. And the box is labeled Clown Heads of Europe. And that's one of them that she put on display. And I just like the juxtaposition of the boots and the chair, the lighting especially.
Is that light through a window?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very nice.
And I did touch this up. I have a new version of it that kind of gets rid of the anomalies in front of the chair there on the right chip. But aside from that, didn't really do much on here other than break that cube through the window, which gave it a little more dynamic appeal here.
Yeah, it's really effective.
I think the head is coming through a little bit too, but that's fine.
I pushed it back a bit. I could see moving it forward even more though.
That's fine just the way it is. It's a good composition.
Yeah, very nice. Thank you, Bob. Any idea what your separation was?
On that, I took 3 or 4. Not very much. I think less than an inch.
Well, thank you, Bob.
And those boots, you can kind of tell from the size of the boots, perhaps. Chair is a little more tricky. That was a miniature.
Yeah, that's a good point. I guess the boots are the scale reference.
I could reverse engineer it if I go and pull out one of those clown heads, but it's about 2 inches tall.
Thanks, Bob.
Sure.
Steve, you're coming up next with Clown Head.
Nope.
I think we just saw the clown
He
head.
stole my title.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's the wrong title. Rusty Chain makes a lot more sense as the title for this one. Steve, tell us all about it.
Yeah, this is just with my Samsung phone, and just went walking around the neighborhood, and wasn't too bothered by the lack of depth of field. Thought that kind of added some interest, because they focus on the pock marks and the rust on the chain that's sort of popping out, or the ring, the link. So yeah, it's just a cha-cha. I just moved, an inch or so, and usually take about 10 pictures, and pick them. I use XN View to compare pictures. I highly recommend that if anybody has ever played around with it. It's really good for going through pictures quickly. And then, of course, Stereo Photo Maker to combine them. Combine and align.
It's interesting. I'm seeing what looks like a catch light on the left chip. It makes it look like there's some creature back there peering through the chains. Looks like eye.
I think I see what you're talking about.
Well, I'm most impressed with the very subtle spider web that's on those legs. Can everybody see those? It's very fine.
Yeah, it shows up even though the image with these glasses is a little smaller than if you were looking at a TV. It shows up pretty well for me.
Yes, it's nice. The spider net. I can see them.
It's very subtle.
Yeah, spider webs are really fascinating and can look great in 3D if the light is at the right angle.
I posted a link to XN View in the chat as well. How long have you been using that program, Steve?
Geez, maybe 15 years.
Wow. That and
It's
Affinity.
free. There's 2 versions. There's a XN View and XNM. I can't remember now, but the newer version is actually the one. I think it has an M in it, and I always remember that because I think of it as, it can take you can look at movies. With the XN View, it won't let you look at any video files, but you have a few more options because you can write notes. That's why I use it. You can write a note and you can sort by notes. So you can say, this is a good one. You just put a star by it or a B for best. And then you can sort by that, but it has nothing to do with the title. You're not changing the title. So that I think is a great feature. But that you have two options for that with the old version. The new version lets you watch movies, and occasionally there's a picture format that the one I use, XNView. Let me see. Well, I can tell you because I've got it right on my bar here. Oops, I'm gonna see if I can do this. Oops, can't seem to get down there. Oh, because I'm on full screen. Oh, XNView MP. So you can think of it as motion picture, which is a newer version, and it's a little bit more full featured, but they took out a couple of features. Well, you try them, whichever one. It's to me, it's just like Stereo Photo Maker. I can't do without. It's free. Have you tried it, Matt? I mentioned it before.
I have not, no. I have put a link to it at the chat, and I'll check it out. It's nice to be able to rank or star photos in a collection. That's something that Windows doesn't have built in, at least. That'd be a really nice feature to have.
They have something, but it's not nearly as robust as the one in XNView.
Well, I'll check it out. Thank you. And yeah, I see Melinda has also put a link to the software in the chat.
It's just because you posted Stereo Photo Maker again.
Ah, that's what I did. Thanks, Melinda.
It's no problem. Now, does this software help you choose good stereo pairs from a sequence of photos? That's something that I could really
it
use.
won't place them side by side. What you can do is you can instantly look at two. You can compare. You can say, "Show me pictures that are similar," and you can note the degree of similarity, and then maybe it'll give you 4 or 5 or whatever, and then you can put a note by them. Then you can sort them. Then you can flip. When you flip, it doesn't slide over or go dark. It does an instant change, which is important when you're comparing. So you can see the minor changes between one picture and another. So you can see if it's good stereo, you can see the little parallax shift. And that after a while, I mean, I'm sure everybody who's done stereo photography can tell right away which ones are going to, probably work. And so that's what I do. I use that tool to compare the pictures. And then also because the club wants the pictures to be no bigger than 1080 high, it also does group conversions. So you can just punch in and do not that it's that hard to do 4 pictures, but I'll do I'll do 100 conversions at once. So it's really good for that. We have a bunch of pictures that are, not highly detailed and have a lot of noise in them. You can just reduce the noise, and it takes the picture size down to about 1/10 of the original size.
Well, thank you, Steve.
Yeah.
Very nice and very useful. I'll check this link out. Welcome, Phyllis. Glad you could make it.
Thank you. We got done with dinner early.
Oh, great.
I'm still trying to get this video to work here.
Phyllis, I forget how. Oh, you use the museum viewer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And Bob, before I advance, let me just ask real quick, were you able to get Twitch working on your LoomPad?
No, I was planning to try to get out early, but too much else happening. So
All right.
I didn't get a chance to do that. But I'm happy if you can, if you post any tutorials or any links, I can get that up and running next month,
I
probably.
do have a tutorial. I will post a link shortly. But first, I do want to advance the slideshow. And the next photo is mine. It's another photo from the Musée Mécanique. This is the opium den. And these figures were moving. I did put a quarter in the machine to get the illumination. I think there's one incandescent bulb in this thing. This diorama is maybe 1.5 feet wide. The figures are maybe 2 inches carved out of wood. And they are moving. They have the shakes. There's a serpent that peers through the curtain on the left. And I just felt that these figures had a lot of personality. And again, I used my hydrogen 1 for this. Shooting through glass might be a stray reflection here and there, but overall turned out pretty well. Now, Bob, let me track down that link for you.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to do it now. You could.
I think I have it handy.
I love this scene here. Do you have a shot where you can see that serpent or whatever it is coming through the curtain a little more?
You know, I don't, and what I should have done is shot video of it.
I was going to ask, that was my next question, if this was a screen grab from a video or not.
The Musée Mécanique is a place I visit once every month or two, so I think the next time I'm there, I'll shoot some video of these things using my red hydrogen 1, which is kind of the perfect camera for this.
There's also, for those with iPhones, if you have the i3D Movie Cam, it might be a good one to use.
Nice short base, yes.
Does the museum change the exhibition every month?
Not every month. Some of these machines have been there as long as the museum has been in operation. And I've been visiting this museum since the late 90s. It used to be located at the Cliff House in San Francisco. Now it's at Fisherman's Wharf. They do occasionally get new machines. Some are new antique machines. Some are arcade machines from the 80s or the 90s. But I think most of the machines that are on display there are over 100 years old.
Okay.
Let me give a tip for people who haven't been there. It's free, and if you go on a busy day, you don't have to pay anything because you can watch other people put their money in. Obviously, you don't want to play a game or something, but to watch these dioramas, because they have like amusement park and musicians and stuff, and you just want to watch them move around, you can just watch somebody, watch on somebody else's quarter.
Okay.
But yeah, it's free to get in.
Yeah, be sure to drop by when you're in town.
Perfect, that'll do.
Bob, in the chat, I've put a link to our instructions to use Twitch with the Loom pad specifically. And there's 2 options. The first option is using the Twitch website, which might be easier for you. The second option is to install the app on your Loom pad.
I think I may have installed it.
All right.
I'll have to check, but thanks.
Yeah, check out that link, now or later. It's on the website, and that'll get you started.
Well, I also have an LG 3D monitor and an LG TV, 3D TV, so lots of choices.
Yeah. If you could install Twitch on one of those or run Twitch through the monitor or the display with a laptop or something, that would work as well.
Great.
All right. Melinda, We have a photo by you up next. The title is Hyperfaces.
Yeah, so the old-time members will recognize this parts from my four-dimensional Rubik's Cube that I developed over many, many years. And I tortured them with images of prototypes and things like that. And so looking for, small things to take photographs of. This caught my eye, and I thought I would try to get some close-ups of these half-assembled puzzles. It's called hyperfaces because in 4 dimensions, a twisty puzzle's face is 3-dimensional. So there are these 3-dimensional things, like in front, you see these white hyperfaces. So the white pieces here consist of 8 identical units with magnets, and they're all touching each other in a ball shape, and that's where they end up in the finished puzzle. But all these clips and things are all hidden inside the puzzle when they're all snapped together. So you get to see sort of the inside of this crazy puzzle. And I put the white faces in front here so you can see how the magnets alternate in color on the inside of each of these sort of tetrahedral pieces. And that's because I get 2 different strength magnets, and I get them in with 2 different color cladding so that I can make sure to arrange them in this way so there's always a magnet of 1 strength connecting to a magnet of the other strength, no matter how the pieces are scrambled in the puzzle. And you can really only sort of see that in these white faces here, like this. Like in the blue ones behind it, you can't really see the colors of those magnets. And then at least in this case, I got the field of view right. I have a nice deep field of view from the front to well into the middle of the rows of the different colors here. And right before I took the pictures, I had an interesting idea. So the front 2 hyperfaces, these white hyperfaces, I adjusted them so that they are aligned with each other. They're rotationally aligned, so that if you are able to free view within your free view and do a little cross viewing of the 2 middle faces here, you'll be able to get a slightly more hyper 3D view within your 3D view. So
yeah.
just for the people that can free view, it's a fun little exercise.
Yeah, that works for me. I think it works best for cross view, cross-eyed viewing rather than wall-eyed viewing, because it looks a little pseudo to me, looking at it side by side.
So that big picture, you're using wall-eyed view?
I'm using wall-eyed view, yeah.
Now, can you do cross-eyed within, once you have it fused using wall-eyed view, can you then add a little bit of cross to those 2 white
Let me try to use
hyperfaces?
my beam splitter, because I can't cross-eye view, but I can make this do it for me. Oh yeah, that works. So I am able to view it using my beam splitter, and I'm just looking at the 2 in one view. And the 3D is quite pronounced, yeah.
Are you doing free viewing within your beam splitter, or just using?
Yeah,
Is it-
I'm doing that too. I'm
Yeah.
using the beam splitter, and then I can cross my eyes a little bit to merge too, and some of the white ones come farther out.
Yeah, so if you merge those middle two white ones, then it'll come out a little more at you.
Yeah,
So it's just
a
a
little,
it's just an exercise.
a little
Yeah,
flashing on there, sticking out, sticking pretty far out.
yeah, it'll exaggerate the cross view.
Really can be fun.
Yeah, that's a fun Easter egg for you viewing a stereo photo. Great idea. And are those inches marked on the grid?
Yes, in the foreground, I
Yeah,
think that looks about right.
that gives us a sense of the scale. Well, that's a lot of fun. Thank you, Melinda.
Mhm.
Oleg, here's one by you. The title is Improbable Reflection in a Novato Festival Booth.
Yeah, that was taken day before yesterday.
And what's improbable about it?
Pardon me?
What's improbable? I just assume there's a tree back there.
It's taking, looking straight up at the sky.
Well, it certainly works. It's a beautiful sky.
And it's great how much depth is inside that mirror.
This is the 3D one again.
Isn't it easier on your back and your shoulders, Oleg, to carry the 3D one around as opposed to your
Are you
your
kidding?
Canon rig?
I carry about, what, 20 pounds. And I consider it sort of like it's for my exercise
It'll definitely work on your core strength.
instead of going to the gym.
Yeah. Well, I think Andrew J. Russell's camera weighed between 20, 30 pounds or so. Of course, he had to carry chemicals and water at a dark room and
Those
glass
glass plates
plates.
can't have been very light either.
Say that again, Steve?
Those glass plates had to
Yes.
have some weight too.
They must have, yeah. Well, that's great, Oleg, and I hope you keep carrying the 3D one around with you.
No problem.
All right, Edward, thanks for waiting if you're still with us. There he is, yeah. Coming up next is Watchworks by Edward. And I'm presuming this is the same technique using the stereo microscope.
Mm-hmm.
Very
Yeah.
effective.
Just a pocket watch. It had a glass face. You can see the numerals on the right, and actually on the left you can kind of see the end of one of the minute hand. I think it is.
Ah,
You just had like a window in the face of the watch. I just thought it would be kind of interesting.
it really
You know.
is.
Oh, it's a great subject.
And again, yeah, just try looking at this through one eye. it loses a lot of interest for me in 2D. The 3D really shows us how these gears interact. And Edward, I did also do some adjustments to this one. You'll notice your label is a bit tilted and actually cropped off in this one. That was a side effect of the aligning and rotation that I did to make this a little easier to view.
I just used Microsoft Paint to try to stick them together, and I don't really know how to do any of this stuff. Like I said, I just print them on the Kodak kiosk on a card and look at them with a. That's why I put the labels in it. So you take the card out and take it out, put another one in, so you can see what you're looking at without having to. Just something for fun.
Well, that's what we're all doing here. You've definitely come to the right place. And I very much hope that you share some more with us in our next meetings. These are really nice.
Thank you.
And, the more you play with it, the more you'll learn the tools that are out there, the free software, different inexpensive viewers that are available for smartphones and computer screens and that kind of thing. So please keep it up.
Yeah.
At the upper right, I mean, near where your label is, I see like a little fuzzy circle that, I mean, it's in both eyes, but they're so far apart, I have trouble reconciling that. Everything else works great. I think it looks really cool. I want to mention, if you're using Microsoft Paint, I'm assuming you're on a PC. If you like Microsoft Paint, sure, go ahead. I didn't care much for it. If you haven't tried GIMP, it's free and it's got a lot of great features. I know Matt tried it and had a hard time with it, and I did too the first time I tried it, and then I ultimately switched to Affinity, which is, I felt, really worth the $70. But if you want a free program that does a lot of what Photoshop does, you might try GIMP.
Steve,
I haven't really tried anything. I just fooled around with my microscope and took some pictures, and I thought it was interesting. And actually, I came upon this club as I was looking on Amazon to buy a viewer to look at them with, and it's just kind of one thing led to another.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to help anybody who needs help to figure out a paint program that they don't want to commit to a subscription based that Adobe Photoshop. I mean, Photoshop is the state of the art. There's no denying it, but it's expensive. So a lot of people are using old non-subscription versions. I think Affinity beats those.
And I put a link to those two programs in the chat if you're interested, Edward. And Stereo Photo Maker, which I mentioned, also has a lot of photo editing tools in it, and it's free as well. And you might just want to start with that if you're interested in pursuing this and seeing if that gives you what you need.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you, Edward. I'm looking forward to seeing more from you. These are really nice.
Oh, before you leave this picture, let me throw this out, see what people think. I was just thinking that maybe if you cropped out the face, it might be a more sort of fascinating one. I like the face, the little number, the Roman numeral, just for scale. But I was thinking if you crop that out, it's this mystical world. There's no clues to give away what the scale is. It's just a thought, and what people think about it.
I would tend to disagree. I like having that in there for contrast, and also just for visual interest. I think the composition is great with that in there.
it tells you what it is, and then you're like, oh, okay, I never saw it like this.
Yeah, well, I agree with that. I just was wondering what would people would think about it if it wasn't there. But I guess I got my answer.
I've probably taken 3 or 4. This is a pocket watch, and I've probably done it in 5 or 6 different ways. I don't usually save them on digitally. I print them out and then delete them, actually. You know, and I just save the little pictures to flip through my little viewer.
Glad you digitized this one. It's very nice. Very good composition. You've got a good eye.
See, what I'm not sure I understand. Why do you print them out? For viewing them?
Sorry?
Why are you printing them out?
Oh, well, that was the only way I knew how to look at them. I print them out on you can get they call it a mini print. You put two pictures from like a SLR, two of them like wallet-sized pictures onto one 4x6 card, and it fits into the little viewer that I have. So that's just all I do.
Well, Matt and I both use these things, beam splitters. It's just a mirror that sort of angles your vision so you can look at side by side, try to make it so you can see it without the processor. So
It's nice.
Mirrors in there. I got this from Berenson Photo. He's a real, stereo enthusiast, Steve Berenson. And I think it was like $30, something like that. But I swear by that. I think it's great. I mean, the ink for the printer can get up there if you print a lot of stuff. And yeah, I would not recommend deleting your photos because digital storage is relatively inexpensive.
Well, if he's got a handheld stereo viewer,
Yeah.
he can just leave the card out and look at the images directly using that.
And there's something
On the
nice
screen.
about having a physical thing to
Oh,
hold.
no doubt. But if you have a viewer like this, you can see it before you print it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying he's got a viewer like that. It's the card holder.
And you can view it on your monitor like that?
Well, if you just put the images the right size on the screen, then you should be able to just hold it up and look directly at it.
Is that working for you?
Well, Edward, I've put a link to all these viewers that we're talking about in the chat if you're interested. It's a store. We don't want to overwhelm you here with a bunch of technical information, but if you're going to be creating a lot of these, you might want to consider a viewer for a screen so that you don't have to make so many prints. But keep coming back and keep showing us these. We'd love to see more. Let's move ahead. Our next photo is by Bob. Fly on Flower is the title.
Yeah, again, I did a fixer-upper on this. This is the earlier version, but this was done with a macro attachment I got from Octay in Turkey, and it fits on my Sony mirrorless camera. And this is the attachment. It has a gauge for, oops, if I can get it over here. Here we go.
Oh.
See, if this were a 3D screen, I could have it coming out at you there. But for focusing, but I find that for any live subjects, you stick them with this and they're not going to stick around very much for very long. But it's a very limited view, but for certain subjects, I think it's great. And I was going to experiment also with trying to replace that black background.
Is this a cha-cha?
No, this was shot with this. This is a beam splitter camera. It's got. I thought you could see it.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Okay.
Hmm.
So it's a
So-
macro attachment, and it's a
Exactly.
stereo beam splitter.
Yeah, and with the
So
mirrorless
was this a
cameras.
living, moving fly?
Yeah, it was. It had settled on the flower, but that was alive, just right in my front yard.
And how do you train a fly to land on a flower and pose for a stereo macro like that?
Yeah, I just show them Jeff Goldblum movies or the old Vincent Price, scare them into staying very still.
Help me! Help me!
Yes, exactly.
Remember that?
Yes.
Actually, I read a behind the scenes thing where they had to shoot that so many times because they just kept cracking up and laughing when they were trying to do that scene.
Well,
Anyway, I love
still
this.
effective.
This guy's purple eyes were just wonderful.
Yeah, lots of detail on those eyes too. You can really see.
Yeah,
the
it was
facets.
tricky because the shot had a lot of background in it, which was causing a lot of retinal rivalry. So I did a quick down and dirty, but the latest version, you don't see any of that, the traces of what I was trying to erase there.
It was nice and sharp. It's
Oh, yeah.
I love that we can see right through the wings and everything.
Yeah, very nice. Thank you, Bob.
Sure.
Steve, yours is coming up next. The title is Thistle Pop Out.
Yeah, well, I hope so. Yeah, it's just the same as the other one. It's just my Samsung and walking around the neighborhood. Unfortunately, it's last several weeks it's been pretty windy around here, so I had to wait till the wind died down. But same as the other one, I went really out of focus in the distance, and I kind of like that. And then, of course, I just put a black stripe at the top to kind of enhance the pop out. I wanted to mention that I liked your pictures. I completely forgot. I was trying to think of stuff that I had done with a narrow base, and I couldn't think of anything. And now I remember I did a whole bunch of stuff at Playland of the circus, the Mark Circus.
Yeah.
Completely forgot about that. Would have fit right in.
Yeah. Well, maybe next year. Although you can also show them in an open. We'd love to see them.
Yeah, I'll do that.
I want to talk about your photo, but I do miss Playland, not at the beach. The Playland Museum where we would sometimes meet. Steve, did you use a particular camera setting on your Samsung smartphone to get that shallow depth of field, get that blurred background?
I don't remember if I changed the setting. Probably not. There is a pro mode in there where you can make all those adjustments, and I use that sometimes, usually just to adjust the highlight shadow area, but you can adjust the depth of field, and I actually can't remember. I'm gonna say probably not, just because I was it's relatively small, and so that just happened naturally.
I just got a Samsung phone myself, and I haven't fully explored the camera. It has this array of 3 lenses on it. Not sure how I can hack those to get a stereo pair, but It has a
Yeah,
lot of
I've
settings.
heard there are ways to do it, but I haven't found anything yet.
I'll probably just carry around my X-Real Beam Pro in my other pocket. All right, thanks, Steve.
Okay, thank you.
Here's one by me. This is from my Bay Area Bridges project that I showed a few months ago. And there's not a whole lot going on here. There's really not a whole lot of depth here, but I did bring my red hydrogen 1 on this photo excursion, and I wanted to capture some of these details on the bridge. The rivets, the silver paint, the rust, and I thought this was a fair composition.
Oh, it looks like a classic cubist composition.
Oh, thank you. It is.
All the rectangles aligning, and yeah, it's very nice.
Oh, thanks. That's kind of what I was going for. They are threatening, have been threatening, are threatening to close the pedestrian slash bikeway on the Richmond San Rafael Bridge. So if you want to photograph it yourself, do it sooner rather than later. And it's a very sketchy pedestrian path, as I said. You're basically just on the roadway. All right, Melinda, you're up next. The title is Patio Heater.
Yeah, so people might remember a couple of months ago I submitted a picture of a friend at a restaurant drinking a spiky drink, and this was the patio heater on my other side, and so I thought it might be fun to try to take a picture from inside it. So I had my hydrogen 1, so I just kind of slipped it between the slats here and took a picture straight up in one of these outdoor patio heaters. And yeah, I kind of like the that sort of interior view that it makes, and the dark blue, almost night sky outside of it. It's kind of rusty or dirty or something inside, which is not particularly pleasant. But I don't know. It was kind of an interesting.
I like the rust. It's a nice, beautiful composition.
Oh, thank you.
I might debating whether to clone out the top 2 corners there.
You know, I was thinking about that myself. It's just like so out of view that it don't really bother me. But I was considering that.
It's just I found my eye going to it, but I'm free viewing on an iPad, so it may look totally different on a larger screen. It just seemed a little distracting for me, but
Yeah, I agree that it's one less thing I want people thinking about. So I probably should have removed those.
I'd probably just crop it slightly. You could just
Yeah,
bring
you
the
can do
whole
that too.
thing in a few pixels.
Also works.
It's great that you got the flame in motion.
Yeah, that's just pure luck. I only took the one picture.
Oh, it's such an interesting form. Yeah, and if you hadn't explained what this is in the title, I don't think I would have guessed.
That somebody would have figured it out.
Did the phone was at risk because the fire?
It was a little bit warm, but nothing really risky. I took a much riskier picture of a campfire once, where I had to shove the phone and my camera way up close to a campfire, and it got very warm. But this was
This
there was
was
no
okay.
particular danger. No, this was safe.
Perfect.
It's a pretty rugged device, the hydrogen one. I think it's got is it an aluminum body? It's not fireproof. But...
Yes, I believe so. Mm-hmm. They also made a titanium one that costs quite a bit more.
Oh, I had no idea.
Which should be nice, but yeah. And you can get these cameras. They get cheaper and cheaper on eBay now. I've seen some for under $100 now.
I have my HTC 3D. Actually, I was going to submit a photo, but I didn't like the results, so I passed this time.
I mean, I got some use out of the camera. It had its own challenges too, but the hydrogen one is definitely better.
Yeah, I'm looking at them listed on eBay right now. Yeah, there are quite a few for under $100. Some around $110, $120.
Isn't the issue the battery in those?
No, they were made to have like a week's worth of battery, and I can still get most of that.
Wow.
Yeah, the thing is completely overbuilt. They tried to just throw everything in the world into it. Like it supports both CDMA and GSM. So you can go to any of the cell providers, but it's 3G, so that's pretty much not supported anymore either. But it was just kind of an exercise in overkill. But I kind of like that. I just wasn't going to pay the original $1,300 for it.
I see on eBay that some of them say locked, some of them say unlocked. Do you have to get an unlocked one?
You can unlock it yourself. I have not done that before. When in doubt, I guess, just get an unlocked phone. But I would not worry about that because you're not really going to be using it as a cell phone. It's fine for using it over Wi-Fi, but good luck getting any sort of cellular connection.
You're not using yours as your smartphone, are you, Melinda?
I kind of am, but
I know
I'm
you
way
were
overdue
for a while.
getting a replacement for that. It's just one more thing I need to do.
Well, you've definitely gotten your money's worth out of it.
I did, very much.
And speaking of those old HTC 3D smartphones, I'm sure I've told the story, well, many of us are here and remember that HTC came to one of our meetings. This is when we were still the Oakland Camera Club, I think, and distributed some of those cameras, asking us to take 3D photos with them for... I think the plan was they wanted to preload the devices with 3D photos. They had asked us to make them, and then they gave us these devices. I know I still have mine somewhere. They weren't great cameras, but it was exciting at the time.
Yeah, they even paid me for one or two of those images.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, that's when that's the last 3D fad that we had, I think, and everyone was everything was going to be in 3D. Well, thank you, Melinda, for Patio Heater. Oleg, you're coming up next with Marin Airporter Office Interior.
Yeah, last week I took my cousin to the airport. She's flying back to Chile.
Yeah, some very nice reflections in this one.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out what was reflections and what was windows. There was several of them.
Well, it looks like a reflection of a bus behind a picture of a bus.
Yeah, I do see some vehicle there. And it's nice to be able to see straight through the space into the those buildings in the far background. Yeah, very nice. Thank you, Oleg.
Thank you.
We're not done with you yet, so don't go anywhere. But first, we're going to hear from Bob. And the title is Honeysuckle.
This is another iPhone 15 Pro Max shot just the other day in the front yard. This honeysuckle is finally blooming.
I think I see a spider web on this one also.
Yeah, I think there's one hiding.
Great color. Looks like, is the light coming from behind, or I guess maybe on top and behind?
It's coming off to the right. Okay. This was early morning.
It's a good exposure, good color.
Thanks.
The background, I'm having trouble fusing.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you probably orbited the camera a little bit.
And no, I think it just needs some cloning back there. But yeah, there's a lot of anomalies because of the separation.
Yeah, really nice window placement, especially on the loom pad. The blooms are coming through the window, but nothing is intersecting with the edge. It's very realistic. Yeah, lovely. Thank you, Bob.
Sure.
Here's my last photo of tonight's slideshow. Trophy Collection is the title, and I took this with my Hydrogen 1. This was an exhibit at the SF MoMA, and I failed to write down the name of the exhibit, but it was part of an exhibit regarding sports.
It's got to be like obscure sports or something, because I can't identify a single sport here. Every one of these statues is doing some crazy activity that I never thought of as a sport.
And I'm not sure if these are actual trophies. I think these must be modified trophies. Yeah, because what are some of the... looks like there's a trophy for painting. There's a person holding what looks like a clipboard.
Matt, I think I've
So,
got a couple of pictures like this from an exhibit at the LA County Museum.
Hmm.
I'll have to go in there and see. I wonder if it's the same artist.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting to compare.
Yeah, I can't remember if I've submitted any of those, but I know I've looked through them as I look through my pictures. But I remember there's one with lots of trophies and one with like a little skee ball game, but with soccer players, like not attached to a bar, just miniature soccer players. Anyway, I'll
Yeah,
see if I can find those.
we'd love to see them. I took this photo a couple months ago, and I sort of kept it in my back pocket because I knew we had this special coming up. And it had been a while since I had used my Hydrogen 1. This was one of the first photos I had taken with it, probably in more than a year or maybe more. And I'm really finding that it pays off to carry this Hydrogen 1 with me because there are some subjects that require a narrow base, and it gives me a lot of versatility to have a narrow base camera. It just allows me to identify more compositions. And I like having the proper 3D camera rather than doing cha-chas because I can capture action as I did with those Musée Mécanique stereo photos. So I think this special subject has really inspired me to carry this camera around with me.
Looks like you probably could have done this as a cha-cha. I don't think any of these things are moving, are they?
This one, yeah, I certainly could have done it as a cha-cha.
Have you considered taking one of the pictures and putting it in Google so it'll tell you what it is?
I definitely could put this in Google Lens, yeah. And I'm sure if I dug around on the SF MoMA's website, I could find the title of this piece. So, yeah, it is possible to identify what this is. I took so many pictures at the SF MoMA that day. All right, thank you, everyone. Melinda, coming up next is your titanium earrings.
yeah, so this is the same part. So my invention, I had to develop an injection mold to create a single part, and now you can see the single part, which I guess technically is called a hyper sticker, since stickers are three-dimensional in a four-dimensional object. And you can see the little pockets and interior where the magnets go on the inside, and I just liked my little shape and thought they would make nice earrings, so I had them 3D printed in titanium, which it looks kind of weird here. I mean, I got the full depth of field. I'm really happy with with these exposures, but the material looks completely different here. It looks like clay or something like that. But in reality, it's still very matte and very solid and thick. And so seemed like a natural subject for trying to take a macro. See, I needed full sunlight, but not direct sunlight. And I did this on the floor, lying down on a mat, and with like a gallon bag full of my plastic parts as a sandbag. I put my DSLR on top of that to steady it and frame it, and then I also used a shutter release to avoid camera motion when taking the pictures, and then just sort of scooch the bag over for each separate image that I took, and that worked out really well. I'm very happy with that. I was able to focus on the sort of what looks like springs, a coil of wire, which is sort of in the middle of the depth of field, and then with a lot of light and a long exposure with a very very narrow f-stop, I was able to get some really nice exposures.
It's lovely, nice composition.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I just wanted the inside and the outside, and
So does that interlock, or those two separate earrings?
they're two separate earrings, and they do interlock.
How heavy are they?
Uh,
I didn't look at your earlobes if they were extended pretty far. Or
if I wear them for a few hours, then it does get a little tiring. Yeah, they're probably about 3 or 4 grams each.
Mhm.
I have plastic ones too. They don't weigh anything, but yeah, it's amazing how strong these are. The titanium is just a really fun material.
It's like something you'd wear to a Japanese temple. It's really beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that developing that mold took like 18 months.
Wow. We've got wonderful texture and detail in this. You could really see the benefits of that DSLR, that large sensor, the quality optics, very high quality capture.
Yeah, I'm very happy with that. It took a lot of experimentation, mostly figuring out what kind of light I needed, you know, answer as much as possible, but not direct light. And I knew I wanted a narrow f-stop, so at least on this one I got it right. Not that that's necessary to have everything in focus. Like most of the images here, including my other ones, you get that nice bokeh effect with the sharp sort of in the middle depth, but it was nice to finally get a picture that was fully sharp.
Melinda, do you have a tripod for your DSLR?
I do.
Oh.
Yeah, I use that especially for the long shots.
Well, you might want to consider a slide bar if you're going to continue with this kind of photography with your DSLR. I mean, you've got a great result here. A slide bar will give you a little bit more accuracy. It might make things a little easier for you, and I'll put a link in the chat for you.
Oh, that's okay. I mean, I have a kind of a homemade slide bar, at least that I use for mounting my my cell phone on the tripod. But yeah, it would be. I'm mildly attracted to the idea of getting a second matching DSLR, but it's technically it's more than I want to deal with.
Sure. And then you'll have 20 pounds of camera gear to carry around with you.
Yeah. I mean, it's cheap enough now, but it's not exactly off the shelf.
Yeah. Well, my twin DSLRs, which I've owned for like 20 years now, I bought the first one secondhand, and then I bought the second one secondhand years later, more than 5 years later. And you're supposed to try to get the serial numbers as close as possible, but in this case, it didn't really matter. And those two DSLRs are still going strong. I just don't use them as often because they're so heavy. I see Roberto put something in the chat.
Yes, I finally found I found a second Sigma lens, a nice for my second QX1, a DSLR, as mirrorless camera, so I can have now better quality for my photos. So hopefully for the next meeting, I will have some interesting results.
Fantastic, yeah. Yeah, quality optics make a huge difference in the just the overall presentation of a photo. You can do so much more with the right lens.
Yes, lenses, the sensor, the shooting raw is totally different beast.
Yeah. Melinda, are you shooting camera raw or JPEGs? What kind of file format are you getting out of that DSLR?
Just JPEGs. I don't know if it does camera raw. If it does, somebody please help.
There might be a menu setting in there somewhere to change it from JPEG to RAW. Might be worth poking around.
I guess I'll ask ChatGPT. It will definitely know.
There you go. Yeah, it'll know for the if you put in the make and model.
Yep. Well,
thanks, Melinda.
Thank you.
Moving on. Let me just get my list of titles here. Oleg. This is your miniature room in a Sausalito shop.
Yeah, this is the toy store. I like the way it floats.
Was this your 3D one, or is this a cha-cha?
This is 3D one.
Okay. Does the 3D one have a zoom? An optical zoom?
I think so. I've never used it. But that's the thought.
Yeah, well, this is very comfortable for me to view. Yeah, thank you, Oleg. I look forward to seeing more 3D one photos. Now that you've rediscovered that camera, it's been waiting for you in a drawer all this time.
Yeah.
And Bob. This is our last photo of tonight's slideshow. I don't want anyone to go anywhere after the slideshow because we won't be quite done yet. But Bob, please take it away and tell us about Tin Toy.
Let's see what to say about Tin Toy. Here's the that's the original. But the lenses were a little flat. I painted those on, so I added some washers to this one and just photographed it.
And it is a 3D, well, stereographic camera there.
Well, it wasn't originally, but I made it. If you look closely, you can see where the original lens was. I took it off.
Ah, okay.
And added 3 washers each to push the lens out a little bit.
Stimulate lenses. Nice.
Yeah.
So you fixed it by giving it a stereo
You know,
camera.
I thought he deserved a 3D camera.
Now, Steve, wasn't there a Pixar short titled Tin Toy from the, I'm going to say the 80s?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it was
great one.
maybe 80, 85 maybe. That's their first Oscar winner. John Lasseter directing, and it didn't quite look like this guy. It was a little one-man band that pretty phenomenal for its day.
Yeah.
It still holds up.
A little tin toy terrorized by a baby.
Bob, what's the action of this tin toy? What does it do when you wind it up?
Well, I'd love to say it took pictures, but actually, he just moves his arms up and down.
Mm-hmm.
Puts the camera up to his eyes. But I like seeing his winking.
Yeah, it's cute. He's got one eye closed.
Didn't have time to wire up the flash so it would be working, but you get the idea.
Put a little white LED in there.
Right.
Well, it's very appropriate for tonight's subject. And that is tonight's slideshow, but we're not done yet. I will ask everyone who can to participate in our poll. You can do it on your phone, tablet, or computer. Use that link or the QR code. I'm going to go through the slideshow again rather quickly. I'll say the title and maker as well. And of course, if you're on YouTube or stream, there'll be a bit of a delay. But let me go through these. You can vote on them now, during, or after this little recap. We will start with, let me get my titles here. Lion Tamer, Musée Mécanique by Matt. Drooping Stickers by Melinda. Excellent Choice by Oleg. Lichen by Edward Austin. Clown Head by Bob. Rusty Chain by Steve. Opium Den, Musée Mécanique by Matt. Hyperfaces by Melinda. Improbable Reflection in a Novato Festival Booth by Oleg. Watchworks by Edward. Fly on Flower by Bob. Thistle Pop Out by Steve. Richmond Bridge Detail by Matt. Patio Heater by Melinda. Marin Airporter Office Interior by Oleg. Honeysuckle by Bob. Trophy Collection by Matt. Titanium Earrings by Melinda. Miniature Room in a Sausalito Shop by Oleg. And Tin Toy by Bob. Let's spend a minute or two making our selections, and then I'll show the results. And before we call it a night, I do have a few announcements to make. But let's make our selections. While we're making our selections, I will announce that our next meeting is Tuesday, July 1st. That is our open division. All right, does anyone need more time? Let me pull up these results. I'll be showing the results on our Zoom screen share. Our YouTube and Twitch viewers won't be seeing this, but I will add that you can go to the poll link. Thanks, Bob. At strawpoll.com/ggss and see the results there also. But let me pull this up.
I think we sort of have no result.
No result?
Or no result?
We have,
we have 7-way tie or something.
Yes. Yeah. Well, let me share my screen, and I think the results speak for themselves. So, yeah, this isn't a particularly scientific result, but yeah, we can see. Oh, looks like we do have what we'll call our first place would be Bob's Fly on Flower with 3 votes. And the rest we will say were equally enjoyed by the group in the meeting tonight. I'm not even going to try to break this down. It is good to see a broad spread in selections tonight. I think we had a great slideshow, and I personally was very happy to see how this subject turned out. This was our first hypo stereo subject. Oh, that should say special division, not open division, but
I think this is the very first time that everybody that submitted got at least 2 votes.
Is that, do you think that's right?
I don't think anybody was left out.
Well, that sounds nice and fair.
That's good. There's a broad selection of things that people liked.
Yeah. I saw a lot of creative solutions for this challenge tonight, and I think they're reflected in these results. Well done, everybody. All right. There are a few things that I'd like to share, but we have a few minutes. Does anyone have anything that they would like to share or announce with the group?
Well, since I'm the movie guy, well, I guess Tor would count as a movie guy. But the Lilo and Stitch, the live action version, is now, I think, in its third week, still being presented in 3D. I pretty much just follow the Hilltop Theater, but I'm sure there are other theaters that have it. I think it's great, but I didn't think the cartoon was one of my favorites either. But it's an enjoyable with some nice 3D moments. And you have three more to look forward to. There's another Jurassic World. There's a How to Train Your Dragon, and the Fantastic Four, I believe, are all being presented in 3D. So we got a 3D summer coming up.
Indeed, yeah. I think 3D is here to stay, finally. Right. I just put some links in the chat. There are two upcoming international exhibitions, which I encourage everyone to enter. The first one has a closing deadline of tomorrow. That's the Ohio International Stereo Exhibition. And the Ohio International has been on hiatus for a couple years, and it's great to see they're bringing it back. Be sure to check that out. I do encourage everyone to enter, but get them in by tomorrow. There's a second one that was just announced. This is the PSA 3D International Exhibition. I don't know why they call it the 3DD, I guess 3D division, but the 3DD exhibition doesn't close until July 21st. I don't think you need to be a member of the PSA to join, but it's definitely worth checking out. I think the competition is probably stiffest at the PSA exhibition, but that's not to say that we can't compete. And that's really all I had. I think everyone is here when I discussed our upcoming live presentation at the Internet Archive. That's going to be July 22nd. That'll be in the evening. It's about the Golden Gate Stereoscopic Society. It will feature our photography, and I'll be sending out an email to everyone asking for photos for the slideshow along with details. And once again, if you can make it to the event, that'd be great. If you can't, that's okay too. This will be the third, I think it's the third or fourth Tuesday in July. July has 5 Tuesdays. So it's following our regular meetings. And we had a great turnout last time. I think about 30 people showed up, so I would expect about the same for this. And it's been a while since we've been projecting stereo photos. So if you want to see how your photos look on a silver screen, that's your opportunity. And I'll send out an email with details either after this meeting or tomorrow. Does anything have any questions or anything they'd like to add before we call it a night? Well, thank you, everyone, for enabling me to finish on time for a change. We had a big slideshow, 20 slides, and we got through them. We're getting better. I'm getting better. Fantastic slideshow tonight. And I will see everyone in July. Until
the
then,
topic for July, the second is the second meeting.
the second meeting will be Tuesday, July 8th. So we'll have a meeting on the 1st and a meeting on the 8th.
But the topic is...
Oh, good question. What is the topic? I usually have that information. The topic is... Let's see, for July, pseudo is the topic, showing the subject inside out by swapping the left and right images when viewed. And what I've written is explore intentional pseudo stereo images for a creative effect.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, that'll be fun. All right. If that's it, good night. Great slideshow. I'll see you everyone in July. Good night, all.
Good night.